This is the Eye for an Eye channel. Welcome to today's show. You may remember in the past I covered the Netflix quote-unquote phenomenon, the Squid Game. And I'm covering it again because there's a new Squid Game. But no, it's not the typical Squid Game fictional show. It's actually now called the Squid Game Challenge, where people are actually signing up for the game. Now, if you remember the premise of the film, it was people competing for a big cash prize. And unlike shows where you get eliminated and you go home, in the fictional movie or TV series, whatever it was, you actually would be murdered, right? So now, of course, we have a TV show where people are signing up for it. Now, we all obviously are going to assume they're actually not going to get murdered, but they are going to get mock murdered. And it wouldn't surprise any of us in the future if people do sign up for the show and they do announce that they will actually literally murder people, and they would still sign up because we're living amongst literally the zombie apocalypse where these people would literally sign up knowing that they are likely to be murdered. And why would we be surprised in the future if that does happen? We are dealing with people who think that men could have babies and 5-year-olds should castrate themselves, so why wouldn't we? And at the same time, maybe it would be a good thing for a lot of these people to herd themselves out or thin themselves out if they signed up for that. But the reality is that they have a show now, and I want to show you this because this has to do a lot with Freemasonry as well. They're signing up for this show, they're competing for money, and they're getting mock killed at the end of the show. This is what Freemasons do. These are the rituals that they perform. Now, we know that they have mocking rituals, and they have human sacrifice rituals as well. That's right, even in your own town, where you will find a Freemasonic lodge. If you're new to all this, every town in America has one. And if it's not in your town, it's right on the border of your town. And on top of that, I guarantee you know a Freemason or two. Now, Freemasons, of course, are cloaked with quote-unquote secrecy, but it's not so secret anymore because everybody's pretty much figured out who's awake, who they are. The problem is that they still are allowed to exist and be tax-exempt on our land. And these are the things that they're doing, which are mock rituals I'll show you after the fact. But I want to show you this with Squid Game, the Squid Game Challenge, how these people are signing up for the Squid Game Challenge, trying to win money. And eventually, I'm sure that, again, this will turn into an actual real sacrifice on television because of the way things are headed. It shouldn't surprise us. I wouldn't also be surprised to see the Hunger Games movie turn into a real-life show as well, or just our reality, which I'll get into after. But here is what's going on with the Squid Game Challenge.
Behind-the-scenes look of Squid Game, The Challenge, the hit reality show based off the popular Netflix series with the biggest game show prize ever, $4.56 million. Will Reeve, there's a looming lawsuit as well.
Yes, there is, Robin. Good morning. The original scripted Squid Game was a surprise smash hit. The show was taut with drama and the highest stakes imaginable. This reality show is a faithful recreation with big money on the line.
It's back.
Let the game begin.
Squid Game, The Challenge, a new reality competition based on Netflix's most watched show of all time, 2021's global sensation Squid Game. The ultra-violent Korean-language thriller about a group of down-on-their-luck contestants forced to compete in life-or-death versions of classic children's games in the hopes of walking away with a life-changing amount of money. But this time, with 456 real people competing for a staggering $4.56 million jackpot. It's the biggest reality show prize in history. Big money for contestants facing economic uncertainty of their own.
We wanted to represent people from all different walks of life. It's not a small amount of money. That is life-changing, I would say, for 99% of the people in this world.
Painstakingly recreating the world of Squid Game.
The noise went off, the doors opened, the guards walked in, and everyone's like, oh my God, I'm in Squid Game.
The games themselves posing unique challenges for producers, like the Dalgona game, in which players have a limited amount of time to carve a shape out of a crispy cookie without breaking it. And, spoiler alert, a massive moral quandary still ahead as Mother Leanne faces off against her son Trey in a game of marbles.
Most mothers would just let their kid win.
What is going to happen there? I can't wait for people to watch it.
The stakes in this show aren't quite as high as the original, where elimination is fatal.
You have been eliminated.
Squid Game is back, but as a game show.
The first game is red light, green light.
Squid Game, The Challenge, is the highly anticipated spin-off of the most watched series in Netflix history. It pits 456 real-life contestants against each other to compete in games like Red Light, Green Light, just like in the 2021 original.
This is not for the average person.
Louisa Warwick is contestant 166.
Going in, I knew it was going to be a really tough experience.
However, in this version, nobody dies. They just get eliminated from the competition with paintball pellets. Those left are vying for the largest cash prize in game show history, $4.56 million. The reality show faithfully recreates Squid Game scenes. Check out the hopscotch game. In the original, you lose and drop to your death. In the challenge, if you lose, you still drop, but not to your death.
Oh my God. For a 69-year-old man, these opportunities, they don't come very often.
At 69, physician Rick Mercurio, otherwise known as contestant 232, is one of the oldest competitors and a fan favorite. Was it an overall positive experience for you?
Probably the best time of my life.
So again, the Squid Game, the South Korean drama series that was a sensation on Netflix back in 2021, where hundreds of players who were deeply in debt are invited to participate in a secretive competition with an enormous cash prize for those who successfully complete a series of games. What they don't realize until the first game is underway is that they're eliminated. When they're eliminated from each game, they will be murdered. Now, we don't even know what really probably happens to these people after they're eliminated from the show. I'm sure they probably do have something. Maybe they just get gang stalked after the show. But we do know that they are performing mock rituals where they're conveniently, in some of the clips that we saw there, they're shooting them, and I'm sure it'll change each episode, the ritual that's done, but shooting them with what looks to be a black goo paintball. Or is it really just black goo? And really, let's be realistic. I mean, most of those people probably have that same black goo they're getting shot with in their mock ritual inside their bodies already, and they willingly took it. But that's another story for another day. Now, when I talk about Freemasonry doing mock rituals, a lot of people don't realize what's going on in their town with these people. They're literally holding swords up to each other's throats. They're blackmailing one another. They're taking oaths of secrecy, and that's how we've really gotten into this mess. I know people always like to say, well, Freemasonry's not as big as you make it out to be, but it really is, you know, the core of it all, because this is how they've networked into other secret societies. This is how, you know, the Vatican, etc., they make them go through Freemasonry. All the people in politics, every single one of them has gone through either Freemasonry for males, and it's black, it's white, the Prince Hall, Freemasonry for blacks. There's many different ones for different, you know, ethnicities, etc., even though they're all working together for the greater good of the brotherhood. Same with the females with the Eastern Star. So let me show you this ritual, okay? Because this is pretty much what you're seeing here. These are the mock rituals that they take. They're pretty much normalizing these types of things in our society by having shows like this where they're doing mock murders. Here's the mock ritual from the Freemasons.
At the East Gate. Grandmaster Hierophant, I'm glad to meet you, Vassalon. Give me the secrets of a master mason, or I will take your life.
This is no time or place for the man, no secrets.
Talk not to me about time, place, nations, or the completion of the temple. Give me the secrets of a master mason, or I will take your life.
It behooves you in this rude and violent manner thus to demand no secrets. When the temple's complete, if found worthy, you'll then receive them lawfully as I have.
You have passed Jubilon. Me you cannot pass. My name is Jubilon, well known for my determination of character. What I undertake, that I do. Give me the secrets of a master mason instantly, for I will take your life.
I will not.
What? Still persist? Then die.
Use this to have slain the Grandmaster Hiram Biff.
This is no time for reflection. What shall we do with the body? We'll bury the brothers in the temple in the low 12 and 2 3 to meet again and discuss what to do with it. Agreed.
So would it surprise anybody, after all this that you're seeing here, if they eventually do go on there and actually kill them off and they sign up for it willingly, knowing what the results would be? Now, do you think any of these people who signed up for the show were like, wait, you're not really going to murder us, right? Right? They probably were like, no, but guess what? You got to have a magic potion if you want to compete on the show. And they're like, of course I will. So they don't really realize that they probably are already dying, if you catch my drift. But the Hunger Games is another that I wouldn't be surprised to see actually played out. Now, I don't know if it needs to be a game show or if it's just going to be the dystopian future that they're creating here. For those of you that don't know the plot of the Hunger Games stories, the story is set in dystopian future, which the nation of Panem, located in what was once North America, is ruled by a wealthy and powerful central government called the capital. The capital maintains its power by forcing each of the 12 districts that make up Panem to send one boy, one girl between the ages of 12 and 18 to participate in the annual Hunger Games, a brutal competition in which the young contestants, known as tributes, must fight to the death in a controlled arena until only one remains. Okay, and that goes, the plot goes deeper with people who revolted against the government, etc. Getting put into districts. Now, where do we see similarities? Well, we see similarities with red and blue states, do we not? When it comes to districts, you're going to be pretty much putting yourself in a district, whether it's a red or blue state, based on your ideologies, so they know exactly who to target and where. And nobody seems to be understanding that's what we're headed towards. That's why these states are they're making the governors, et cetera, like Newsom, like DeSantis, into celebrities in a sense, where they're household names. I'm telling you right now, for those of you that are younger, the older people would understand. 20 years ago, nobody living in New York would have a clue who the governor of another state was for the most part. Okay, it's very rare that you'd be like, oh yeah, I know the governor of Iowa, I know the governor of Texas, I know. They're like little mini celebrities at this point. In fact, they actually wield more power now than ever before as far as their social influence, because they're just getting pushed on talk shows, etc., over and over again, where they would never do that in the past because there's no ratings. Nobody would watch it. They turned it off, just like C-SPAN. Nobody would want to sit there and watch politicians talk. Now they're doing that because they're trying to use them as herders, herding people into states. So they come out and they talk about their ideologies, which they want to relate to and connect. And then you say, oh, I like that person, I would live in their state, et cetera, et cetera. Part of a herding mechanism. We're literally in the Hunger Games, or heading towards the Hunger Games. But back to the narrative here with the Squid Game, right? So let me just read to you a little bit about the game here. The challenge features 456 contestants, as you saw, competing to win $4.56 million, Netflix's largest cash prize in reality history. While the competition doesn't mirror the sci-fi show, when it comes to life or death stakes, competitors were dead serious about how they approached the game. I'm sure, like, as the show progresses, because it just started, I'm sure the rituals at the end, like, so if they shoot it with a paintball gun, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually they put them in a furnace, an inferno. I mean, they're going to do stuff like that, right? I think it's to start normalizing mock death rituals, because they normalize all Freemasonic rituals in our day-to-day life. That's what they do. They're normalizing the things that they do in secret, making it public, normalizing these things, even if it's subtle like this. It becomes more and more normal, right? Remember I always covered Taylor Swift Out of the Woods? Because they're trying to bring all these things that they do in secrecy, all these rituals that they perform, and make them normal. Now, you could look at things like this and say, well, yeah, the Masons perform mock death rituals, and now we're seeing it on television, on Netflix. What else do we see? Well, these things called Planned Parenthood, right, that people go willingly sign up for, is their numero uno ritual that they perform in secret. And they've convinced through social engineering the masses out there that it's normal, that they're not, it's about their body, it's not about the child. I mean, utter insanity, right? They're coming out of the woods and they're normalizing all their routines and all their rituals. So if anybody wanted to start, uprising and stopping this stuff, I mean, well, you could go to there's nothing really that could be done, right? Because if you want to talk about Freemasons, because people out there go, oh, this guy's talking about corruption in politics, etc., and they can't wrap their heads around how these people network. I'm telling you right now, even on a township level, in a small town, your leaders in those towns are Freemasons, okay? Now, is the mayor going to come out and say it? No. And really what should have occurred is these people should have been arrested for treason a long time ago. Because, again, I should do a separate video about things done in secret, but does anything good come out in secret? This is what people should just be saying, right? Does anything happen good in secret? If you have a secret between two friends, obviously it's a secret for a reason, right? You don't want anyone else to know for a reason because it's probably not something good that occurred that you're keeping a secret, right? Whether somebody made out with somebody else, whether somebody did a crime and didn't want to get caught, whatever it might be, somebody did something behind someone's back, it's a secret. There's nothing good that comes out of secret. So when we have secret societies, what do people think is actually occurring? What do you think is good about it? They admit to being secret society. Oh, Freemasonry is a secret society. Oh, okay. And then they try to use this illusion that they've created. And the illusion, of course, is fraternities, right? So they go, oh, we're just like a fraternity. It's just like that. And there's 8,000 movies about frats, right? But they don't show you the other sides of the frats with the hazing and stuff, which are gateway rituals into Freemasonry and secret societies. But they want you to think, oh, Freemasonry, they're just chugging beer and doing keg stands, just bros who moved on from college and wanted to do more. No, not even close. They're plotting against us. That's what they do. Okay, it's about world domination. These are all themes inside all the books that they read, right? And obviously Albert Pike is the one they go to in all his teachings in Freemasonry. He's the one who talked about starting World War III, and we see it exactly playing out the way his books told us they would play out, right? So what really should occur is these people should be arrested for treason and imprisoned. But now we live in a time period where everybody's on TikTok, nobody cares about what's going on, and we've been infiltrated, and now we're getting set up to be destroyed because everybody's distracted and too busy to care. And of course, they've brainwashed people into thinking stuff like this is misinformation when it's not. It's the truth. So eventually, I'm sure, we'll see Squid Games with real human beings who are actually really willing to lay their lives down for the money, right? And it's interesting, too, with the debt scenarios because we see our society getting more and more in debt as they raise the prices on more and more things. Well, maybe they'll come and collect. I mean, when you give China power over America, I wouldn't be surprised we do have the real Squid Games here. I wouldn't be surprised at all if a lot of these morons actually sign up willing to lay their lives down for money. And of course, we'll see the Hunger Games play out too. It's pretty incredible what we're getting towards because, again, I'm sure somebody would even do a video on this video and say, this guy thinks that they're actually killing themselves in the Squid Game challenge. And that's not what I'm saying at all, obviously. I'm saying what they're doing are mock rituals, which are Freemasonic, which they're normalizing. But I'm saying in the future, I'm sure that they probably will. And they'll have it on TV, right? Because even the Hunger Games is televised. It's a televised sacrifice. All this stuff continuing to get normalized in our society as our society continues to accept it and the rest of the people continue not to uprise against it because they're too busy fighting amongst each other. All done by design, all from the secret societies. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always and your families.